Evernote. I don't know how many people are familiar with Evernote already, but Evernote is pretty much like a hybrid virtual notebook that lets you integrate the web. So when I first heard that, I was confused. So my understanding of it is like when we're out and about, like at the grocery store, at home, or at work, and sometimes people come in or we have to remember something, and so we jot it down really quickly on a piece of paper, a sticky note. That's what we use a lot, is sticky notes. And somehow the paper gets lost, like I'm sure we all know, and then when it's time to actually do what we needed to do, we can't remember what happened. Well, Evernote is pretty much a way to organize all of your notes, sticky notes, loose papers, and organize it in the way to where you can easily access it anywhere you're at. If you're at home, at the grocery store, if you're at work, even on your cell phone when you're on the go. Either way, you can look at your notes that you've put in. So today I'm going to show you how to create an Evernote. I'm going to show you the different versions of Evernote and see if it'll work for you in your notes that you take already. So first, I'm going to go to the web and show you the online version. We're going to show 3 versions today: the online version, the software that you can download to your desktop, and then I'm going to show you the app that's on the phone and iPads. So I'm going to share my screen. When James stops sharing his screen. Okay. And I want to go to the website. I'm just on a regular internet browser. I'm on Firefox. And as you can see, I'm on Evernote.com. This is what it's going to look like. Before we get started, I do want to mention prices. The one I'm going to show you today is the basic free option, but you have a premium and a plus. So if you click pricing, you see that the plus is $24.99 per year. The premium is $49.99 per year. The difference between the 3 is with the basic, you get 60 megabytes of space that you can use each month. That means that's 60 megabytes worth of notes that you can upload into your Evernote every month. With Plus, you get 1 gigabyte, and with Premium, you get 10 gigabytes. Later on your own leisure time, you can go and you can look at the tools and some of the things it has to offer for each. Of course, Premium, you're going to be able to do everything with it, but you can see what the Basic and the Plus have to offer as well. So I'm going to go back. To download Evernote, you can go to your menu bar or right here where it said menu and click Download Evernote if you don't already have it downloaded. But today I'm just going to show you the internet version first. I'm going to log in to my account. So when I'm on the web and I'm on an internet browser, this is what my Evernote is going to look like. It's going to look just like this. So on the left, you see we have 2 sets of toolbars. The first set, our first plus sign, this is how we create a new note. The second option is our search, and then we have our work chat. The search is going to allow you to search all of your notes with just 1 word. So let's just say I searched the word books. It's going to pop up every note that has the word books written, either in the title, in the content area. It could be written on a picture that I've uploaded, or if I use the tag instead of the word book, it's going to pop up everything in my Evernote notes that contains the word book. Work chat, I think, is very useful because with work chat, you're able to automatically send your notes that you create with your coworkers or your colleagues, and then all of y'all can annotate on it together. You have the option to have them view it and view it only. They can view it and make changes, or they can make changes and then share it with somebody else that can help the situation too. So before we start a new note, I want to better explain notes, notebooks, and tags, which is our second set of tools. So to better explain, I think of a notebook, like a notebook we have in school with a binder notebook. And in the notebook, you have paper. Each piece of paper is a note. And on that note, you can add a tag. So let's just say our notebook was labeled lesson plans. That means each note inside the notebook would be a different lesson plan. And then each tag could be a different subject. So we could have a math tab, we could have a reading tab, or we could have a science tab, or we could have freshmen, sophomores, juniors. So that way, every time I type in that into my search box, it's going to pop up all of my tags with the word junior in it and math. The star is your shortcuts. If you wanted to create a shortcut something that you might view often. Like I know one of my notes is the numbers of some of our student workers. So if it's something that we access very often, I might add it to my shortcuts. That way, when I am on Evernote or if I'm out and about and I have to get to it quick, I can go straight to shortcuts and it'll pop up. So I'm going to go into a new note that we can go ahead and create one so you can see how it works. So in your note, all you would have to do is first they're going to ask you to do a title. So I'm just going to make up something, Evernote. We'll just do Evernote features. So whenever you're ready to actually start your content, you can click anywhere in this area and you'll see the whole screen change because you'll get all of your editing options. But before we do that, I want to show you your notebooks. So my notebooks are listed right here. Every time you create a new note, it's going to automatically put it in a default notebook, but you can change it. If you tap your notebook, as you can see, it popped up all of my notebooks that I have. So I can just say, let's say I want to put it in the Evernote training notebook. So then that, as you can see, it said it moved to my Evernote training notebook. So now this note that I have labeled Evernote features is going to be in my Evernote training notebook. And I can add a tag. Let's just say I wanted to add a training tag. And as you can see, it added a tag as well. So like I said, you can click anywhere on your screen. And as you can see, you got your basic functions just like you would if you were on a Word document. You know, you can change the font, you can change the font size, the color. Some of the cool things that I think they have to offer is you can add a checkbox, which for me I use a lot, like when I'm at the grocery store and I need to know, you know, what I might need to get for the house. So I have a grocery list that I put on my iPad because I always have my iPad with me. And then that way I can just go in and check it off while I'm in the grocery store. Another cool option to have is you can add attachments to your note. You can also insert a link if you have a hyperlink that you want to put in. Now remember earlier when we were speaking about sharing the notes with our colleagues and our coworkers, if I wanted to share my Evernote features note, I could just go to this share option right here, and I can share it with somebody else who already has an Evernote account. I only talk to James and Marquita, so that's the only names I have, but I can send it to Marquita, and as you can see, it says Evernote features, so I could just send it, and it'll be sent straight to Marquita. If you want to send it to somebody who doesn't have an Evernote account, you can still do so by clicking the drop-down arrow beside it, and you can send the note via Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can send it through an email, or you can get the link and maybe upload it to Blackboard or something.
So, Pez, I could chime in right here on how we use it as a use case for everybody to get some ideas. Say, for example, we're working on a project, or we're working on collaborating on a document or something. What Topaz would do, she would create a note, and then she would share it with all of us in the office here, and we would collaborate, add on our ideas on it, and from wherever we are. If I'm in a workshop or Marquita is in a classroom or whatever, regardless of where we are, as long as we have internet access on any device, we can access those notes. And when we log in on my iPhone, on my tablet, it'll give us an alert like it would a text message saying that Topaz has shared this note with us. So we use it for collaboration tools, and you guys can do find some other ways to use it too. But it works really well with us when we're working on a single document, and sometimes we even copy information from Microsoft Word, spreadsheets or whatever, and put it into our Evernote, and we collaborate amongst ourselves. And then, as Topaz will show you later, we'll even email it out to, you know, to the supervisors or something like that as well. Cool.
Yeah, like James said, you can email it out if you wanted to email your note, or you could just add the link straight into Blackboard if you wanted to share it with your students. One more thing before we finish this note, I want to divert our attention over here to the upper left-hand corner, and this right here is our delete. We can delete the note, which it will delete from all of our devices and the online version and the desktop app. We have our info button, which I like because it shows when the note was created, the time it was created. It shows if you shared it, who you shared it with, if the person you shared it with commented on it, and it'll also, every time that you or anybody that you shared it with make a change, it lets you know in your info. Right here is our shortcut, as I showed you earlier. It's a quick shortcut add. And then Evernote also added a reminder, because we know sometimes we write notes and sticky notes and then we forget about them. Well, maybe sometimes we might need something important and you have to remember it. So you can set a reminder to say, hey, I need to look at this note tomorrow at noon because I know it's something pretty important. So you can set that and then you can click done. Once you click done, your Evernote or your note is going to appear over here under your notes, and it's going to sync automatically to the app version and the desktop version that you download. So this was our web version, our internet. Now I'm going to show you the desktop version, which I already showed you how to download. So I'm just going to open it. It's down here at the bottom. So as you can see, it looks kind of the same. There's a couple things that's different, which I'm going to show you, but other than that, we still have our work chat, we still have our shortcuts, which it actually shows the shortcuts on this one. It shows us how many notes we have our notebooks, our tags. I have a lot of tags. And two things that I wanted to point out was the market and the announcements. The announcements I find very, very useful because it offers tips, features, it shares people's stories who also use Evernote. Sometimes they share the notes, and here you can see how other people are using it and how it might better work for you. So I check this probably once every couple of weeks because they put new stuff up every now and then. So just check it out on your own time if you want to see how other people are trying to use Evernote. The market, Evernote sells products related to Evernote as well, like Evernote add-ons kind of. So they offer like a stylus, a scanner. I mean, you can go through at your own time and look at those, but you can purchase things from Evernote straight from your Evernote account. So you don't have to actually go to the web. You can do it from your phone, which I'll show you that when we get into the app, how you can get to it as well. Another thing about the desktop version, it shows your activity, your recent activity. So that means anytime that I update a note, I make a new note, I delete a note. If I've had a note that I've shared with somebody and they did something to the note, it's going to show up in my recent activity. It looks like James changes a lot of my notes, but this is how you would get your notes and how you would see when somebody else has commented on it or made a change on it, rather. Every time you make a note, all of your screens and all of your apps are supposed to sync together. Sometimes, depending on what's in your note, it could take a little, I mean, it's not going to take a long time, but it could take a few minutes. But if you need it right away, just tap your sync button, and it should sync automatically. But other than that, everything is the same, just like the web version. On the desktop version, you can add an extra user. So let's just say you're home, you have this downloaded on your home computer, and maybe your spouse or your children or your mom have an Evernote account too. They can also use the desktop version and log out of yours and log straight into theirs. It's very simple. So I think that's really cool if you're using Evernote at home. Before we go into the app version, I want to show the very cool thing about the desktop version, which I think is my favorite, and it's the web clipper. And you can go download the web clipper by just going to Google and type in download Evernote web clipper, and it should be the first thing that pops up. And as soon as you click it, it's going to automatically download it for you. But what it does is it literally clips images from the web and integrates it straight into your Evernote. So once you download it, it's going to automatically be in your up here in your toolbar on whatever internet search engine you use the most. I use Firefox a lot, so I have mine in Firefox. So it looks like a little elephant. So you just tap it, and then it's gonna come up like this. So you can clip an article, which is just a piece. You can clip the simplified article, which if you click on them, you can see what it's going to actually clip. I can clip the full page. As you can see, the green line is around the whole page. I can clip a bookmark, which is going to look just like this. Or I can manually take my own screenshot.
And as we learn what today, Topaz, this feature is now available on
iOS devices. Mm-hmm.
On your iPad and your iPhone too.
Yes,
right.
sir.
Sweet.
Now that is one of the updates. We just realized they put in the tips in the update. The tips and features I was showing you guys that we just looked at, that's how I saw it. It was an update. They also include app updates up there too. And it let us know that they have just put the web clipper now that you can now use it on your iPads or iPhones. It's not available for Android yet, but maybe they'll start it soon. So I'm just going to click this article. I click article and I'm going to click save. So as you can see, I'm in Evernote, and this is what it did. It pretty much clipped the side of these notes I had right here and put it into a note in my Evernote. And then I can go in here and change the title, change the notebook. I can add a tag on it. I can add a reminder, and I can also print it. So if it's like a picture or something I wanted, I could print it. Let me see. Let's do. If you take a screenshot of a picture or use the screenshot, it gives you the option that you can annotate on them. I do want to show you guys that. You could zoom in and zoom out. You can put a text on it, and you can also use highlighting options. So you can actually use this as you need it to on your board, and then just click save when you're finished, like we did earlier, and it's just going to save it like it did when we just did it with the Evernote notes. So now I'm going to go in, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen because now we're done with the app version and we're done with the online version. I want to briefly show you the app, which it looks different, but it has the same features, except for one thing that I want to show you that's different that you can only do from the app. So I'm going to share my screen on my iPad.
Okay, if anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute your mics and chime in as well. Don't be shy.
Do you have any questions? No? Am I going too fast, or it's okay? Oh, it's okay. So I'm going to start the app version now. So if you just download the Evernote app, of course, like I said, the one I am using is free. So I'm just going to tap Evernote. And when you're in your Evernote, this is what it's going to look like when you first open it up. It's going to look just like the full screen. You're not going to see anything on the side, tools. It's just going to open up whatever you just used, you recently used on your Evernote. To get to your notes and your notebooks and your tags, you want to tap this elephant in the upper left corner, and it's going to bring up all of your notes. It's going to bring up your work chat. It's going to bring up my shortcuts. You see my tags, my notebooks. The difference between the app version and the versions that I already showed you guys is, one is these quick shortcuts, these bubbles up here at the top. What this does is automatically open up your note and whatever you click. So the first one is text. It's going to open up a regular text document. The second one is a photo. It's going to open up my Evernote with, it's going to probably access my camera on my iPad, and then it's going to open it up with whatever photo I click. With the reminder, it's going to open it up with the reminder. And with the list, it's going to open it up with the check boxes that I showed you earlier. And then the chat is just going to open up my work chat. So it's going to send me straight to Marquita and James. The other cool thing that the app version offers that the other ones doesn't is it has location services, which I think is pretty cool because it lets you see where you were when you created the document. So you can click places, and it'll show you all the notes you've created that you've attached the location services to. So I've created a lot of notes, but I've only attached location services to 6 of them. Most of them were in Pembroke. The other one I didn't go. I just stuck the pen somewhere to see what it said. But you can go in here, and if you're in Fayetteville or Charlotte, and you can see I created this when I was in Charlotte, so I was probably here. So that's what you could use the location services for, but you don't have to use the location services. I do want to show you how to get to the location services, though, in case you do want to use it. Let's just say we were creating a note, so I'm just going to click the text bubble. And you see this little I that's on the right-hand side? Do you see it? If you can move the cursor over it, over to the right-hand side. It's an eye and a circle. Yeah, right there. I'm going to tap that. And all I have to do is just tap, and it's going to add my location to wherever I am when I created that note. So, of course, if I tap it now, it's going to say I'm in Pembroke still. But if you're somewhere else, that's all you have to do, and then you can access your note that way.
So there's one way I've used this location feature, and I've seen other people use it, is say, like, for example, if they're at a conference in another state and they can't remember, if they take a bunch of notes and they can't remember the specific name of one, I have done it where I've typed Philadelphia, and it pulls up every note or that I tagged that I've done in Philadelphia. That was one way that it helped me and some others that I know.
Yeah, that is a very cool feature. That is one of the, I love the location services, even though I don't go far, but I love the location services. Before I close out of the app, I want to show you one more thing, because I just don't want to leave anything out, and that is this microphone that's up here between the camera and the work chat. So I'm going to tap it. And what that will do is, as you can see the number moving and the line moving. So it's recording my voice right now, and it's going to attach it to my note. So I like to use this because sometimes somebody asks me to do something and I don't want to type it out, so I'll just say it to myself so I can write it down later, and then I know what needs to be done. So I like this feature because sometimes, you don't want to have to write a note out, especially if it's long. You might just want to say it, and then you can view it later. You can also share it, the recording, if you wanted to share it with your coworkers like I showed you earlier. But when you're done, you just tap the done. And then as you can see, it attached it straight into my note. And guys, that is all I have to show you for Evernote, and I hope that some of what we showed you today can help in trying to handle some of those loose papers that we all like to keep around.
Cool. Does anybody have any questions? As you can see, Evernote is pretty very well set up, and a lot of things that you could do with it. And the one thing I like about it, it is in the cloud, so whatever you do on one device is automatically going to sync on another one. So even if you don't type your note, if you go to, just say if you go to a room and dial and you didn't bring your device and you need to type some notes or bring up some notes, you can just go to Evernote on the computer and there, put in your information or get anything that you need. When you get back to your office, it's going to be on your Evernote desktop in your office. So Evernote is really cool. Now there is another app similar to Evernote called OneNote that Microsoft has that's probably on your computer now that's similar. And we're going to talk about OneNote later on, probably next semester as we're working on it now, looking at some features and comparing it. But that is Evernote in a nutshell, and I think once you start playing with it, you're going to start seeing a whole lot more use cases for it. So does anybody have any type of questions at all? For Topaz, she is our Evernote expert on campus. Okay, since there's no questions, there is one other thing I want to prep you for next week. Next week, you can spread the word. We're going to be talking about something that's really, really cool that's going to probably change your PowerPoint delivery in your classes. It's called Office Mix, and it's a new add-on for PowerPoint that allows you to take your voice-over PowerPoints to a whole new level. Now you can add in video. You can do quizzes with it, isn't it right, Marquita? You do quizzes with it. You can get links from your PowerPoint and interactive videos to load into Blackboard and to YouTube and all of that sort of thing. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to talk about that next week, and Marquita Patterson is going to be presenting Office Mix. So that's coming up next week, and thanks again for joining us today on this short session, and let us know if we can help you do a one-on-one or whatever you need us to do with Evernote or any of these sessions that's coming up. All right. Thanks again, everyone.
Thank you.